At my gems, it is me, creator Jules, and I am on here to tell you what creative business strategy is and what a creative business strategist is, which is me. Hi, I am that girl. So I know it's been a while. Probably the last thing you heard is that I was doing marketing or I was starting my company, How to Be Social, and I still do marketing. I still have a company called How to Be Social. Both of those things are very much operational and still doing it. But as I've gone through this journey and tried a lot of things, because my goal is to be a pioneer in whatever I do. I'm looking at the people that are the top in the industries. I am doing what they're doing, but I'm tweaking it and seeing if I can't do it better, or I'm trying something explosively new and watching it fail miserably or watching it be super successful. And that is what has given me the confidence and the experience to do what I'm doing now, which is create a business strategy. So what is a creative business strategist? Well, a creative business strategist can literally look at any problem, whether it's a personal branding problem, a small business problem, or a Fortune 500 company, and say, hey, like, what is the problem or what is the goal that you're trying to achieve? And usually we start off with the why we're trying to achieve that goal or the purpose behind that goal. If that goal is, a lofty goal, doesn't mean that we can't achieve it. It just means that we need to have a stronger why of why we want to achieve it. Because in order for everybody on that team or that one person to achieve that goal, you're going to have a really strong reasoning as to why you want to achieve it. Because the bigger the goal, the more time likely it is going to take to achieve that goal, or the more passion it's going to take to achieve that goal. So when we're doing these creative business strategy sessions, usually what I do is I figure out what they've done historically. We look at what's worked, and if they haven't done anything historically, most likely we're setting up an experiment based on what their goal is. And that's kind of where my experience comes in. Based on all the things I've done historically, I'm just quick to it. I know how to connect the dots. There's a book called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about 3 types of people: connectors, mavens, and salespeople. From a very early age, I've always known that I was a connector. And one of the things that being a connector allows me to do is it allows me to take 2 very different things and connect them very quickly. And because I am such a pioneer, it allows me to go after that thing and be very successful very quickly, or fail really quickly and figure out why we failed, adjust, and then keep pushing forward. And that's really what a creative business strategist, in my definition of the term, does. Why do I love it? So it's kind of like I said, I've always been a connector, and in creative business strategy, it's connecting the dots and figuring out how we can use different resources, different data, different strategies in order to achieve that larger goal and that why behind what we're doing. It requires me to think critically, which I think, I've been doing a lot of study into people with ADHD. I'm pretty sure I'm just undiagnosed ADHD, but the really cool thing is that ADHD people can focus on a lot of things at one time, or be able to move from one thing to another thing really, really quickly. And so it allows me to think critically, but very quickly. And so I'm thinking, okay, what if we tried this thing or this thing? And it's great to have a sounding board of people to work with, and then go back into my little cave, kind of put things together, put it on a piece of documentation, write it up, make sure that it's organized and it's optimized so that when I hand it back to the team for execution, we can all see the vision, go after the vision, and be passionate about what we're doing. Every campaign is different, and so that's what I really, really enjoy about strategy. I've helped single musicians do their personal brands, all the way to I've helped businesses figure out how to optimize their digital marketing and social media campaigns, to setting up their operations side so that they can have a long-term, foundationally lasting business. And there are some campaigns that I feel like have been super successful and some that haven't. But in every situation, you figure out what is the X factor and how you can do it better for next time. And I think that's what I really enjoy about being in creative business strategy, is that there's always a different problem to solve. I spent the last couple of years of my life learning all these different things so that I could be quick to it. So I know photography, videography, graphic design, website design, project management. I know how to run a talent agency. I know how to do marketing for companies. I have put together podcasts. I have thrown many events. There are so many things that I know how to do. And so when it comes down to it, a company will bring me in and I'll just be quick to ideas, and they'll be not only good ideas, but inventive and creative ideas based on what the client has told me that they've done historically. My job for most of the first hour or 2 hours or however long the session is, the majority of the session, my job is to listen, take notes, write down questions so that I can be a great sounding board for the people on the other side of the table. Because 99.9% of the time, they already know the answer, or they already know how to achieve the thing that they want to achieve. But most likely there's a mental block, or there's old operations that are in the way of them achieving their goals. And so it's really important for me to just be a listener and to really take good notes and to ask the right questions and be able to organize everybody's thoughts into a document that's optimized for maximum efficiency. So yeah, and I think my favorite part really about it, and one thing that always lights me up, whether it's virtual, whether it's in a boardroom, whether it's an event, is teaching and guiding people. I've realized that I'm very, very good at being patient and being faithful to the team that I'm working with, because I truly believe that everybody has something to offer on a team. And if you're patient and you're quiet enough and you're a good listener, you can understand the value that everybody brings to the table. It can be really hard to work with some people sometimes because they don't just match my vibe, or they mirror a lot of things that I don't like about myself back at me. But it's really important to work with those people, because most likely if you can figure out how to work with the people that cause you the most difficulty or that cause you to have the most emotion, then you're going to get the best result possible. And so the reason I bring that in there, because teaching and guiding is not always easy. People don't always just sit down and listen to what you have to say. And most of the time, teaching and guiding is about listening to what they have to say and then affirming their feelings and emotions and then moving them in a direction that they feel comfortable with, but a little bit uncomfortable with, so that they can actually grow in that area towards the problem we're trying to solve. And I like being at the high level. I've realized over the past couple of years doing all this executionary work that even though I can do it all and it looks great, I've had so many people ask me for photography services, and I'm like, hey, I really don't do photography anymore, but I can refer you to one of the creatives in our portfolio. People are like, but wow, you're so good at it. And I've thought about this a lot, and it's like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's the thing you're meant to do. I think a lot of the times as career-oriented people, we're good at something, whether it's real estate, whether it's drawing or animating or doing coding, whatever it may be, whatever your thing is, you find a lot of pride in doing that thing very well, better than anybody else. I've never had pride at being the best at something, because for me, I truly believe that I'm just above average at everything. Like, I learn enough to where I can do it really well. I put in enough time to where I can do it a little bit better than the intermediate person, and I can sit up there with the big dogs and say, like, I know what I'm doing. But I usually get to that point and I'm like, great, I've got the skill. I definitely need to put this skill into practice every once in a while so I don't lose the skill. But there's just something about sitting at the high level and being able to work with creatives and operational people and business people and putting them in the best places possible for their success that really just lights me up with joy. And I think it goes back to just being that connector. So where it can be applied, creative business strategy can literally be applied to anything. Usually when I talk to people about the business areas. So when I sit down with a client, I write down a couple of different areas. Usually it's mindset. Mindset is usually a big prohibitor for people in business. And I, for a long time, didn't realize how much my own mind was keeping me back from being successful in what I'm doing. Because we will continue to live in the same cycles and do the same things, no matter if you're successful or not, if you can't get past your mindset. Usually there's marketing and branding, there's sales, there's operations, there's, I know I'm forgetting something here. There's sales, there's operations, and yeah, I think I said all of it. No, I said it all. Anyways, so there's all those areas that you can identify problems in. And usually people will tell me, like, this is my goal. We'll talk about what they've done up until this point. And from that point, I can identify their problem areas just by listening to them talk and hearing what they have to say about what they've previously done. So I've applied this to people that want to do podcasts. I've applied this to people that want to personally brand themselves. I've applied this to my own event strategy. And I've used it in the seminar that I have coming up called Creating Creative Business. I go through all those areas and I teach people the basics and the foundations of what they need to do in order to set themselves up as a creative entrepreneur so they can start making money from their art. Because the reason I feel like I've been so successful over the past couple of years at all the things that I've done is not because I am smarter than anybody else or better than anybody else. It's because I am fearless when it comes to the thing that I want to learn. I put in the time, I put in the work, and my foundational business skills were really, really good. And nobody taught me those foundational business skills except for the fact that I got my degree in PR and journalism and a minor in world studies. But after college, I went heavy on studying things like the 1 Minute Manager, Radical Candor. I went to YouTube University and I really, really studied. I looked up to people like Mark Cuban and I was like, how is he running his business? How is he operating his business? What does he say about running a business, or what are the most important things? I've made partnerships with people like CJ from Thrive on Life, and he has got a great organizational way of the way he puts together business. And I love talking to him and conversating with him because there's always something that I pick up from those conversations. And again, that goes back to my number one skill of being a connector. The way that I learn is through conversation and discussion most of the time, and documentation and journaling. So yeah, I've used it in my life through the seminar. I've used it in my How to Be Social events. I've used it through pretty much everything that I've done in my life. And now I've just been working on my own methodology of what a creative business strategist is and what it does. And there's a lot of people out there that will say like, oh, do it the exact same way that I did it and you'll be successful. I don't think that there is a one size fits all when it comes to strategy. You can copy paste and maybe you can see some of the success that person saw, but you'll never find true pride and success in your work unless you're doing it in a way that best fits you. And it'll become more of a pain to operate that way because it's not the way that truly lights you up inside. As my mentor, Susie Batiz, always says, you've got to do things that light you up. And so yeah, that is a little bit about my creative business strategy, what it means to be a creative business strategist. And that's kind of what I'm doing now. If y'all are interested in bringing me in to help with your business or your personal brand, just drop a comment or tag somebody who needs this. I would love to be of service to you. I am also going to start promoting the Creating a Creative Business seminar probably in the next month or so. And that'll happen on a quarterly basis. And that's really meant for artists of all types who want to learn the business side so that they can start actually making money in a long-term and scalable way. So yeah. Oh, and I started doing music. I wanted to learn how to do music, so I'm in the music industry now. I have 3 singles out. I just released another one called Tub of Lonely. I released it on Valentine's Day, so if you want to show some love, I would love if you went and listened to that song. I'll drop the links to all that below. I'll also tag the people that I mentioned in this video here so that you guys can learn a little bit for yourself. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you learned a little bit about creative business strategy, maybe how you can apply it for yourself. And if you don't want to apply it for yourself and it doesn't light you up and you want to bring somebody in, I'd be more than happy to help. So remember to stay social. You're all gems, and I can't wait to see y'all till next time I make a video.